Hi, and welcome to Channel 4 News about birth defects. Our topic today is fetal alcohol syndrome. Now, I bet many of you are wondering, what exactly is fetal alcohol syndrome? Well, fetal alcohol syndrome is a syndrome caused by excessive compulsion of alcohol by the mother during pregnancy, characterized by retardation of mental development and physical growth, particularly of the skull and of the face of the infant. Basically, it's when a mother at birth is pregnant and she's drinking, she's having a good time in her life, I'm just gonna get drunk every night, that kind of thing, but doesn't realize that the alcohol that she's consuming is just a tad bit too much for her unborn child to take. And sadly, it's a big, huge, absolute problem to the infant. The infant will develop fetal alcohol syndrome. Now, I bet many of you are also wondering, well, how do I tell if my child has fetal alcohol syndrome? Well, here are 8 symptoms of fetal alcohol syndrome. Heart defect, abnormal behavior, learning disorders, poor coordination, slow physical growth, deformation of the joints, limbs, and fingers, vision difficulty or hearing problems, a small head circumference. These are just a few out of the very many symptoms of fetal alcohol syndrome. Now, I bet also if you were wondering, well, if my child has fetal alcohol syndrome, what are the problems that they face? Well, a few common issues that a child faces with fetal alcohol syndromes are they have a low IQ, they have lack of social behavior, they have poor eye contact, poor memory, and cluelessness, meaning they kind of don't get it all the time. Now, later on in life, when your child is older and much mature, you ask yourself, what will an adult with fetal alcohol syndrome have problems with? Well, a few of those issues are they will have most likely drug or alcohol abuse as well. They will have mental illness, kind of like mental retardation, sort of in a way. They're easily confused. You don't just have to be blonde to be confused. A lot of other people do get confused. People with fetal alcohol syndrome are one of the people who easily get confused. They are unable to hold a job because of their being able to be so slow and stuff. And they can't defiction. Meaning basically kind of like they can't quite get things as quick as everyone else. I guess it's kind of like they have a slow memory process. They can't read as quick as everyone else. They can't, kind of understand as quick as everyone. So, like, if you're given a problem, 2 plus 2, you usually think, oh, it's 4. Well, a person with fetal alcohol syndrome can't think that quickly. It takes them a second. They have to go 2 plus 2 equals 4. And then they get it. They're not as quick. Now, here is something that everyone probably will ask themselves. Well, what is a physical trait of fetal alcohol syndrome? Well, this here shows a fetal alcohol syndrome. This shows that a child has a thin upper lip, a short nose, small eyes opening, can't see that, low nostril, small head, epicentical folds, flat midface, and smooth pituitarium, and an undeveloped jaw. Or underdeveloped. And, it's sad because, honestly, what did these kids do to deserve to have fetal alcohol syndrome? It just isn't right. Look at poor little child here who just... What did he do to deserve this? His mother wasn't thinking right and drank while pregnant. She drank. You see this? She drank alcohol while pregnant. You know what? Honestly, you know what I have to say to that? That is a big time no-no. if you are pregnant, you really shouldn't drink alcohol very much because you have the big risk of getting your child with fetal alcohol syndrome, and that is a long-term effect. It is not fair to your child. Okay, now that I've calmed down a little bit, you're probably all wondering, how many people out there have fetal alcohol syndrome? Well, I have an interview with a man who is 24, and he has fetal alcohol syndrome. And his name is John Kellerman. And he lives with his mom, and his sister, Teresa, and his dog, Winnie. He's 24 years old, and he has fetal alcohol syndrome. This means that his birth mother drank alcohol while she was pregnant with him, and the alcohol messed him up by the way he developed. Because of the alcohol, he was born very small, and he still is short. He was born with a hole in his heart and needed open heart surgery. His eyes were crushed, and he needed surgery for that too. But worst damage that was happened to him was his brain. He is not smart like other people his age. John quotes, "I like people, but I don't have very many friends because I don't know how to keep a relationship. I like to be independent. I have to be very careful and watched by my mom or my brother or my supervisor at work because I cannot control my behavior at times. Because of the alcohol damage to my front brain, I don't have very good control of my impulsives, and I have very poor judgment. When it comes to making decisions, I make bad decisions that get me in a lot of trouble. Because of the damage in the center of my brain, I cannot plan ahead or solve problems very well. I have a hard time remembering things like rules and consequences. I also have a hard time or trouble with concepts like money and time." Now, John is a very nice man, and it's not like he planned this for himself, but his birth mother drank at birth, and because of that, John is caused with effect. This is a picture of John. Oh, there he is. There's John. John lives in Arizona. Also, one of John's biggest problems is people who just don't understand. People who think problems are from not being disciplined enough from poor parenting. Not his biological mother, but his adoptive mother, had really tried hard to teach him manners, from what was right, what was wrong, but it just didn't click all the time, and he can't help it, because of his brain being processed so slow. Now, I bet you all are also wondering what treatment would be. There is no cure for fetal alcohol syndrome, but there are some treatments that are such as... Oh, here we go. The physical defects differ, typically presented for a lifetime. Heart abnormalities may require surgery. Learning problems may need special service in school. Parents often benefit from counseling to help families and a child's behavior. There really is no cure for fetal alcohol syndrome besides helping the child, having surgery for anything like crossed eyes, open heart surgery, anything else with like eye problems, heart problems, lung problems, any of that can be helped by surgery, but their facial features are stuck with them for life, and their brain is stuck for life like that. They can't help it. Also, coping and supporting. It's best to have a psychiatrist for physical problems, like like knee therapy, stuff like that. That would be good. And also, emotional therapy, which is helping them understand more, kind of helping them with manners and all that. And there is one major support group in the world that just happens to help children with fetal alcohol syndrome, and that is the National Organization of Fetal Alcohol Syndrome, helping children and families to fight leading known causes of mental retardation and birth defects. So, here's a few of statistics. U.S. children born or develop long-term mental condition each year. This is from like an annual number between different fetal alcohol syndrome, CMV disease, Down syndrome, spina bifida, all these. And fetal alcohol syndrome is the second leading cause, or second biggest problem in the U.S. Also, here is kind of like a chart saying from 1979 till 1993 how much it's changed and how many more children have mental retardation. And this is by the thousand. Like, this is 10,000. Like, each little one is 10,000. That's ridiculous. We're up here almost at 70,000. I mean, that's ridiculous. In 1993. Now, here's a few things that you'd probably like to know. A few facts. True or false? Test kind of like it. True or false? The birth mother of my child drank, so my baby will have fetal alcohol syndrome. That's a little false. Just because a mother drinks does not mean a child will have fetal alcohol syndrome, determining on the factors of how much she drinks. Like, if you're gonna have maybe a drink every now and then, maybe every other week, that's kind of fine. I mean, lay back a little bit towards your third trimester, but it's fine normally. But if you're drinking every day, every week, every other day, you might want to cut back just a little. True or false? I will be able to tell as soon as my baby is born if he or she has fetal alcohol syndrome. False. Oftentimes, it is hard to tell if a newborn has fetal alcohol syndrome. Many infants have similar facial features that have nothing to do with alcohol exposure, but have to do with the heredity types of delivery and size of the child. True or false? The birth mother drank alcohol, but my child doesn't have fetal alcohol syndrome, so he or she will be fine. That's a big time false. Just because your child does not have fetal alcohol syndrome does not mean that he or she will be fine. The effects of alcohol can be devastating on a child's development, brain, or other organs. The child could have multiple different problems, anywhere from physical problems or emotional or cognitive problems. So, let's review what we knew. Fetal alcohol syndrome is caused by what? Right, you got it. Fetal alcohol syndrome is caused by a mother who is pregnant drinking while she is pregnant. Alright, next thing. Fetal alcohol syndrome happens, or could happen, if I drink once in a while. Alright, you got it. Of course not. If you have a drink every now and then, that's fine. But don't drink all the time and don't make it a regular habit. So, I'd like to show you one thing to make sure you realize this. On one side, this side, you see a normal child's brain, and then on this side you see a fetal alcohol child's brain. This is what the damage is, and this shows that a fetal alcohol child is a lot slower. So if you do drink a lot, your child may have a very hard time in school and making friends in life. So remember, don't drink alcohol too much while you're pregnant. Maybe once in a while, but not a lot.